Hi everybody! Thank you for joining me today. This is the first Technique Tuesday video for Scrapbooking with Me Boutique, and one of the first requests was on sprays and using them basically in crafting. And I do a lot with cards, so I'm going to show you how I would use it. But this is a wooden container that my mom had, and I actually borrowed it from her. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I store my bottles in here. Now, if you've never had Lindy sprays before, they come to you empty, and it's just the powder on the inside. And then when you're ready to use it, you fill it up to that line. You see where it says fill, and you fill it with hot water and then shake it up. Now, this is one that I already had filled with water, and I was just trying to show you what you would do. Now, that white thing that everything is sitting inside is actually the splatter container that you can get from the boutique. And I'm going to real quick actually go fill this one up with some water, and then I'll be right back. Oh, this one I also got from the boutique a while ago, I want to say. Mr. Huey. I'm going to show you that one. This one, I can't remember where I got it from, but I want to say it's a Ranger product. And this one is a shimmer mist, and it shows you the color on the outside of it. And then this one I just got with the last kit, and it's a Kaiser Craft. I showed it in another video that I did, but we're going to use it with this as well. So we're in the splatter box, and I've just taped down my paper and the stencil. Now, in hindsight, I'm going to tell you this. Whenever you're doing your actual project, you want to make sure that all four sides are taped down, okay? Because it can lift up in the middle if your table isn't completely flat. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And right there you can see me, I'm just spraying. And that one is this, what is this one? The Voodoo Violet Blue from Lindy's. And I like that, the reverse of the stencil. I just used it to blot up some of the paint that I had sprayed, and this was really beautiful. The thing I love about the Lindy stamps is that they always give you it's basically like two colors for the price of one. So when you're looking flat down on it, it has this really deep purple hue, and if you tilt it, it actually shimmers like a gold. It's really, really pretty. Now this one is the Mr. Huey's mist. And I found, out of all of them, I found this one to actually spray the hardest. The Lindy's, the one from Ranger, they have a nice fine mist, so it sprays very lightly. And with this one, the one spray, it just, so much ink came out that it wound up going underneath the actual stencil. So I'm just going to press down again using the same paper that I was trying to block, because I wanted to show you, you know, what each one looks like sort of side by side. And see these sheets right here with the negative, I guess this is positive, negative. Once that dries, you could technically use those sheets too, because if you're doing a card which is 5.5 by, you know, 4 1/4, you're going to be able to cut this down. See how it got blotchy and it doesn't have as much detail. So now we're going to try the shimmer mist. And I always try to, if I can remember, if I'm not moving too fast, I usually spray in my trash can first, just to get the feel of the spraying before I actually do it. And when I cleaned off the stamp, I brought paper towels with me, so that way I would have something to, you know, spray it, wipe it down without having to use another piece of paper for that. I got smarter on my second one. So when I lift this up, I would say this one was probably one of my favorites that I did in this experimenting process. It has like a golden brown to it. It's really quite beautiful. Now this one, I'm going to use the original Lindy stamp that I had. I only had one that I tried to use because the sprays were always kind of overwhelming to me, and I was afraid like somehow I'm going to mess something up instead of just diving in and trying it. So you can see here, at first it wasn't spraying a whole lot, and I didn't want to saturate it too much, so I just sprayed it a little and then wiped it up. And to be honest, even that was enough, because when you lift up the stencil, when I lift it up here, which should be soon, you're gonna see it actually gives a nice kind of it's like a lighter, and then there's spots where it's, you know, a little splotchy, like there's not as much detail, but then there's other areas all the way around the edges that have the detail. So in the center, most likely if you're doing it as a card, you're going to be covering it anyway, whether it's a sentiment or something else on top. So you can still use these, do you know what I mean? It just depends on what effect you are going for. So I wanted to try one more thing, and I want to say, yes, this one is the Kaiser Craft. Now, when I was first using the Kaiser Craft, this one and the Mr. Huey's, they have similar bottles, the tops. So at times the spray can come out harsher than with some of the other sprays. But on this one, when I did it, because I knew what to expect from having used it before, it actually didn't come out too bad. It really didn't. And there you go. See how pretty that is? And it was just a few spritz from a spray bottle, and you have a beautiful background for a possible card, or even maybe some, you know, detail in a journal if you're, you know, an art journalist. Oh, this I want to show you. I wanted to try Mr. Huey's one more time. So my goal here with the Mr. Huey's is to just spray as lightly as I could. You know, I was trying not to get it too saturated like I did the very first time when I wasn't expecting how much was coming out. So I'm just lightly dapping off all the excess. And then we're going to lift it up here. And I loved how this one turned out. And it was just a light misting, and then on the sun spots it was a little bit darker, and it had this nice, almost like a faded wallpaper look. I really like that one. Now I'm going to show you real quick just the sprays, the actual spritz from the bottles. You can see that one was a very light and thin mist. This next one I'm doing is, I want to say, one was, those first two were the Lindy's. This one was the shimmer mist. Just showing you how they spray, you know, very similar. And then that's Mr. Lindy, or Mr. Huey's. And you can see no matter how I spray, it comes out in such large sections of color. So depending on the style you want to do, you know, choose your sprays wisely. Definitely test them out before you use it on the project. And I'm going to show you once again the pages that we did, so you can see them side by side. And then there's the Lindy's, the one that I oversprayed, Mr. Huey's, and then the other Lindy's that I had. And then that is the card that I made out of the Kaiser Craft. The antique gold. I thought it was really pretty. Thank you guys for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next week in our next video.